Hello, hello. Today I'm meeting with, there are icons, there are massive A&Rs, and then you have Jeff Fenster. Okay, I just wanna make you aware of the honor that we have at AVENUEAR to have such an amazing, experienced A&R in the industry that is known globally. I'm going to go to the executive sections and you will see Jeff Fenster. He's an A&R and manager. So if we dive in briefly into his bio, you know, he has been for more than 2 decades working with the most amazing artists in the world. And he's eager, and still until today, he has a passion of looking for new artists, new music. He's a great gentleman to have in AVENUEAR, listening and potentially giving opportunities to musicians that are trying to get to the next step, right? Now, you can actually, if you go to avenuear.com, obviously, if you go to the executive section, and there are pictures of many of the executives that are part in the platform. Some of them they're not showing because they're only shown to those that sign up. But if you click in, Jeff Fenster is actually publicly right now. So he worked at Jive Records, Def Jam, Arista, J Records, Warner Bros. I mean, and you know, I was actually I had the experience to share and a lot of conversation with them, right? So you know Bon Jovi, you know Mariah Carey, you know all Britney Spears. Now, this is part of his resume, right? You had to have in mind that he's actually current with current and the most updated artists that are out there, and he's always utilizing. And one of the things that we learn is that the A&Rs, when they hear a music, you know, they hear a tune, they go and utilize those songs and potentially place them with the artists that they're working. For example, something that I noticed that Jeff Fenster here, he's working with Dua Lipa, is a current artist, a really successful artist, and many other artists that are charting right now that are eager and hungry for new content, for lyrics, for beats or songs, potential collaborations. Or Mr. Fenster will go and say, well, I'm going to develop this artist, okay? So without further ado, we're going to start the interview with Mr. Jeff Fenster, and enjoy. Thank you. Let me do this. Hello, happy Friday. Today I'm with Mr. Jeff Fenster, and we are actually doing a walkthrough through the executive aspect of the system of AVENUEAR. And basically, today is the 14th of January 2022. Happy New Year to everyone. In any case, so here is what the executives see, and Mr. Fenster has already been reviewing, and we're sharing a screen. So basically, we're going to go through the process of showing how the executives see and rate songs from real artists out there that are submitting songs to Mr. Fenster and all the A&Rs that are participating in AVENUEAR. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to educate the public is the fact that all the A&Rs, they see the hit list. The hit list is composed of all the 5 stars. Actually, an executive will be able to give a 1 to 5 stars rating to each of the different evaluations. So here I can listen to the song, and this is the top 20 right now, right? So I can move it to the right, and I can see the top 20 artists in the hit list that all the A&Rs have access, right? Now, when we get to the end, we can actually click load more. And now we have the top 40, right? So all these artists are charting and ranking right now based on submissions that were done. And usually the ones that they receive 5 stars, they are going to be obviously at the front. And if they submit the same song to other A&Rs and they rate 5 stars, they get point. Every time that they submit the songs, they get points from different interactions. Let's say Mr. Fenster goes into favorites. If you click favorites there, you can see some of the people that you may consider eventually. You can actually click the image of one of the favorites. And if you don't click start and contact, because that will give you the email and the phone number for this artist that is in your contact list. But when you click on this, you are potentially giving points because you may be interested to learn about the phone number or the email of this particular artist, right? So, but right now, what the ultimate goal for this video is kind of go through the submissions, some of the submissions that you have pending, Mr. Fenster. And, and are you ready?
Yep, ready.
All right, very good. So we go to the submissions. Okay, and then we have a coronavirus gotta go. Okay, sounds like a funny song. Let's see what happens. Okay.
Yep.
Well, okay, are you ready to play? You can play.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let's go.
All right.
Smoked my last cigarette today. Picked up the paper and it said, coronavirus gonna kill me. Something about the news is fishy.
Okay. We can keep playing it or
I wouldn't mind just hearing how the line ends.
A shitty reality show. The world is grayer than you know. It's a disease. You think you got it when you sneeze.
So do you want me to just give my verbally?
yes, sir.
Yeah, so that
you're the judge, Mr. Fenster.
that to me is I think I have to give it a 2. I was in between whether to give it a 2 or a 3, but you know, if it is kind of an attempt to be topical and to be funny, but I didn't think it was that funny. Obviously, I think almost intentionally, it was, you know, should I stay or should I go now? He was using the melody and chords, you know, from an existing song, and it was an attempt to make it into a funny and topical cover song. It's not really what I do, and I think it was just okay. So again, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't terrible, so it fits in that 2 to 3 category to me.
In the 3, okay. So we can click 3.
We can give it a 3. We can be nice.
Very good. So now let me ask you something. What will you do? I mean, it sounds like this is not your focus when you're looking or searching for an artist. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So
I mean, it's one of those things where I've done all kinds of music. So if I thought somebody was the funniest topical person in the, you know, I've seen the success of a Bo Burnham, you know what I mean, in the streaming world and so on. So I wouldn't say I would be absolutely closed to something like this, but it would have to be pretty spectacular, because this is not what, you know, most of us at record companies do on a daily basis.
I see. You don't focus in the funny or comedian type of music, right? No.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And will you say that one day you may think about, oh, I remember the coronavirus song or something, and someone is looking for that, or any of the artists that you are representing, because you work with renowned artists in the world, right? Will you say that you may be able to say, maybe I could use the lyrics on this, or I can use obviously the should I stay, should I go now tune is not something that you can reuse, but you had to pay rights. How does it work? Can you explain to us? I mean,
yeah, I mean, if you wanted, so what he's doing there is he's just using the song, right? He's not using the master recording of Should I Stay or Should I Go? So it's a publishing issue. And because he's not doing a straight cover, because he's doing something with new lyrics, you have to go back to whoever controls the publishing and get a clearance. And if they agree to clear it, which they don't have to because it's not a straight cover, but if they agree to clear it, then they will decide how much of the publishing that they want to take for the song, and they could take up to 100%, at least theoretically. But you still need that approval. Now, there is something called fair use for parody, which means that you're, there's a certain, I think, exception for doing stuff that is a parody, for doing stuff that is funny. Certainly, there's, but I don't think that would apply in this instance where somebody's making a commercial, trying to make a commercially viable kind of new thing. They would have to go get that clearance.
I see. And that costs a lot of money for an artist, or that's something you and A&R?
Probably not, because again, they didn't use the master recording. They would just, whoever, first of all, they have to say yes in order for you to be able to do it, in a kosher way, right? With the proper, clearance where you wouldn't conceivably get sued, especially if it's successful. So you have to get the clearance, and then, like I said, they would take a piece of the publishing, but normally you wouldn't have to pay money up front for that. It's not going to cost you out of pocket money. It's just you have to get a yes, and you have to give up probably a pretty large percentage of the publishing.
Oh, I see. Like they can ask you 90% or 80% or 95%.
Yeah, they might be fine with 50%. You know what I mean? You just don't know until you seek the clearance.
Very good. Okay.
Should we do another one?
Yes, let's go to the next one. So you click in next song there. And it's Media Vibe Entertainment. Okay, let's see.
Is this? Okay, I see. Yep.
So we're going to go. So let's see if you can hear this, Mr. Fenster. We're going through the process of listening to artists that submitted songs to you. And we have Mr. Chef Kingery. Let's listen again.
Okay.
You're the judge, Mr. Fenster. What do you think it is? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
So to me, I see several songs from this same person, but I would probably give that overall. I would probably give that a 4 because there's real musicianship there. There's real arranging. I don't think his voice is great. I don't necessarily hear this as an artist per se, but as a, songwriter / producer, maybe even, if he's in fact producing this music himself, there's some talent there. And that's my basic feeling about it.
Okay, very good. Okay, so it's a 4. You can click 4 here. Go next, so we can hear the next song. Are you ready for the next song, sir?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So you can click there, play, and let's go.
There was not much left for him here when he saw the falling towers. Learns to fight for something so real, make the pain rain down like showers. Channels all his anger and fear and guilt from all the madness of peace and questions if he'll ever be whole again.
So I'm going to give that a 3 because again, I like the other song I think better, and I've already given him 1-4. So you know he's made the 4 to 5 cut already, but that song didn't add anything for me.
Very good. So obviously you think that, you know, some musicians may have a hit, or well, almost a hit, or something that needs to be developed. Some of the songs may be prime, excellent. What kind of songs you feel like, what will you do to the song to improve it? Maybe that will be my question.
Again, I didn't, you know, in order to make that judgment, I'd want to listen to the whole song. But you know, suggestions I would make in just, you know, more generally speaking, would be, you know, I could suggest changing the structure, for example. If the structure wasn't quite right, you know, like this part should, maybe you think about this part being for the chorus, you know what I mean? That's now the pre-chorus, and we need a post hook after the hook to kind of complete the song. Or it might be lyric ideas like, this is cool, but maybe if you made it more specific, you gave them more specific example of the story you're trying to tell. So it's the different elements of it. It depends on, you know, what you think can be improved or needs improvement.
Mm-hmm. And here comes a question. I know that you have an extensive career, Mr. Fenster. You have worked with TV and film, and until today, do you place music in TV and film? Do you see that this could go in a commercial eventually one day, or the 4th or the 5 that you have artists that are in your favorites? How do you determine that?
Well, there is some music that tends to be music that supervisors and people who place music in, whether it's film and TV or whether it's commercials or whatever kind of sync usage, there are certain kinds of music that tend to be, you know, more easily usable for those things. And that might be, you know, music that's a bit dramatic, or music with, you know, a lot of energy. But it's hard sometimes to tell, because you know, I get from the people that I work with, you know, I'll get like a pitch, you know what I mean? Like, this is what they're looking for, this kind of a song. And, you know, very often, at least somewhat specific in terms of, you know, we want a song with a lyric about empowerment and uplifting, and which is very often what they want.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So that is a common factor,
that's
like,
up,
hey,
you know,
I want to excite people.
A song that's uplifting and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes they'll want a song that's sad, you know, for a scene in the movie, or, you know, whatever, but they'll give you some idea. So I think, especially for people who, you know, that can be a very good living to make, you know what I mean? Making music specifically for sync. I know musicians great, who don't even really do the artist thing, and they don't necessarily do that much writing for other people, but they've learned the sync game and they've learned what those people want and so on. And I think this guy we last listened to, again, I don't really hear him as an artist per se, but he could be a person because he seems to be musically talented enough that could actually be one of those people who gets briefs and makes things specifically according to a brief to submit for, for a particular sync license opportunity.
Oh, I see.
You're good.
Larry.
Okay, so we're you can move the mouse to number 3 and click 3. There you go. And then obviously you know how to use the system. You click the next song, and now we're going to the next song. And he has My Candle MP3. All right, so let's click play. Go for it.
Let's go.
As we gather in our shelter, the pain is soon left behind. Trying not to hold before our time. And in a couple of years you will be gone from here, and the strength of my life will be gone. When you leave, I'm alone. Any path you choose, I will be right behind. You're a pain.
Whoa. What do you think about that, Mr. Fenster? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So that was a very nice melody on that one, and chords. I'll give that one, kind of a 4 with the first one he did. But again, it's a 4 based on what it shows about primarily about his musicianship. It's not a song that I would, have an artist for or something like that. You know what I mean? It's not really contemporary sounding,
Okay.
but there's real musicianship there. So there's, depending on what this person's goals are, I think they have the ability to kind of, do something potentially successful.
Very nice. Very nice. So when artists work with you, what do you expect from them? I have a out of the blue question right now that I just thought, like, what is your ultimate goal in terms of what are you expecting from an artist or a musician that potentially could work or work with you that you discover here through AVENUEAR.com?
I think there's a number of elements that I look for, but clearly, and I think this is something that Avenue A&R is great for helping us find, which is people, songwriting ability. To me, it's more important now than ever, because I think, there's not, people want to see something that's, can make an immediate impact, you know what I mean? And the idea of just getting someone who doesn't write and finding them songs and all that kind of stuff, it's just not how the business really works for the most part anymore. So songwriting ability is super important. And I would say the one piece of advice I can give to everybody that's putting songs up here is make sure that your song, that you get to the meat of your song as quickly as possible. If you've got a long intro, get rid of it, okay? Because in the world we're in right now, the way people listen and act and scroll and everything else, you've got to catch people's attention in 7 seconds. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean you have to have the chorus right away at the beginning of the song, although it's not a bad idea to do that. But it doesn't mean you have to do that, but make sure you have something that's going to grab people right away, because that's the world we live in now. You know what I mean? Like if you want to really catch somebody's attention, they're not hanging around through your 30-second intro to get to the start of the song. And one of these submissions was like that. It had a lengthy instrumental intro, and I might be gone before the song even really starts. And I'm not just saying me, I'm saying the listener in general.
I see. So, and here comes a big question that most artists in the world are asking, like within 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a mind like yourself that you have been in the industry for like so long, right? A couple decades already. And so you feel, I feel that you have a lot of experience. Can you determine in 10 seconds, 20 seconds, this is a hit, this is it. This is the song that I wanna use, you know, to develop the artist, or how do you work? Can you explain a little bit about it, Mr. Fenster?
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, I listen to a lot of songs, and you know, I'm experienced, but I'm also like any other person. I try to remain a consumer as much as possible. So I want someone to grab me, you know what I mean, with what they're doing, the same way as if I was, you know, in my normal day and I had music on in the background, for example. And, you know, every once in a while, I'm like consumer. I hear something I haven't heard before, you know what I mean? And I go, ooh, what's that? You know what I mean? And then when I'm out, sometimes I'll hear something I didn't know, and I'll Shazam it like other people do, you know, like try to figure out what that is. Right. So I think, you know, then you get into all the other stuff. You know, you meet the person. If it's an artist as opposed to a songwriter or producer, it's like, are they a star? You know, are they interesting to people? Do they know how to do social media? Do they want this so badly that they'll go through all the ups and downs and the things that, you know, it takes to be successful and all of that? But to me, it starts with the songs, and that's, you know, what Avenue A&R is great to, because that's how this process starts.
Right. Now, will you say that Avenue A&R, one thing that I noticed that artists in the world, they're really difficult to get a hold of. I mean, you don't have their phone number, you don't have their email, and even if you send an email, you don't know if you reach them. So will you say that Avenue A&R give you the tool that you just click, you go to your favorite, you click the picture, you click a stack and contact? That's a really valuable feature for you as an A&R, that you can send a text message to that user or send an email. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, a lot of times now we find something, you don't know how to get a hold of the person. So what do? You go to their Instagram, you send them a DM, you know what I mean? You have no idea if it's going to get there. At least half of the time, people don't respond. You'd think they would, you know what I mean? Right. But you might be surprised at how often people, not just me, but just people from record companies are like, you know, reach out to people, or even when there's an email address, you email, don't get an answer. So to be able to have a direct connection with someone, you know, you already know if someone's on Avenue A&R, they want to be reached out to by, whether it's me or one of the other amazing, you know, people, A&Rs and you know, producers and so on that are part of the A&R kind of panel, the Avenue A&R panel. We already know that people on here have already decided they want the interaction, they want someone to get interested and so on. That's great for us, because I can tell you, we waste a lot of time trying to track people down.
Right. And I hear a lot of people like, I don't want to put my phone number publicly in a website because I will get 1,000 phone calls, you know?
Yeah, that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
But by the way, the other thing is, if I'm reaching out to somebody and I can't even get a hold of them, that's not going to make me feel like, well, what's going to happen if I work with this person? You know what I mean?
And through Avenue AR, you have access to the phone number. You can send a text message or call. Now you know if he replies or he accesses, and you know it's serious. So it
Right.
gives you that opportunity to direct connection. Excellent. Now,
Right.
please put forward. And my question to you: will you recommend all the artists out there to use plugins like Waves to improve their music? How do you feel about Waves plugins, for example, for improving songs, or they don't improve songs? How do you feel about it, Mr. Fenster?
No, I mean, the Waves plugin is a great tool that I think you know, is, you know, valuable. I would recommend it to anyone, you know what I mean, who is making music at this point, who, you know, might not have the knowledge and the access, you know, you know, to be aware of every tool that's out there and to know how to use the right kind of plugins. And the great thing about Waves is, you know, you can use it on really with any kind of music, you know what I mean? Any genre, any, you know, any recording format and all that kind of stuff. It's a great tool for people out there to use.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to the last song and click next. So this is a young fellow again.
This is the comedy guy again?
Well, it sounds like he, yeah, I think that he's the one that wrote the comedy.
Okay, okay, let's go.
Let's see what he has. Let's go.
Go.
Go for it.
Heading upstream on a one-way street. Still kicking hard, no shoes on my feet. My ears are bleeding from all the horns honking. Everyone's speeding, but I'm still walking. This is the line.
We was going to get to the hook right there. You want to keep playing a little more, or
Play a little more, it's fine.
okay.
I'll take it, that's my dream. I'll make it when life gets tough. I just keep saying over and over again. Just keep walking, just keep walking, and just keep walking, and just keep walk. When my feet hurt, I kick the ground.
All right. So now he went into serious mode. Sounds like he has other repertoire, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's still a 3 to me.
Okay.
I mean, you know, he's definitely, I'm glad that there's original music here and so on. You know, definitely good energy. But ultimately the song was derivative sounding to me and kind of dated, and the lyric, you know, was nothing special. This was okay, this was fine, but and it's a young guy, obviously, from his picture, so, you know, but he needs to work on getting a bit more originality, originality in his in the music, and you know, just kind of keep working on the lyrical side of things as well.
Do you think that coaching through different, like a voice mentor or another A&R out there, or another executive that may take her under his wing, may be able to help him, give him?
Look, I think all of the other A&Rs, I mean, you know, everybody that I know that, you know, that's on the kind of the panel, as I said, at Avenue A&R, are all super capable people, and we're all different. So, you know, my 3 might be somebody else's 4 or 5. And yeah, I think this guy's young. It appears to me he's a bit green. So yeah, he could benefit from any kind of help. If he's writing these songs by himself, if he can connect with, you know, some other songwriters and so on and producers to kind of develop his music and his sound. So anyway, thank you very much, Christian.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fenster. Have a great, happy Friday and happy weekend. Thank you for your time. And this is a great opportunity for the artists in the world to see how you as an artist, as an A&R, actually review and think. And thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure. Talk to you later. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye, sir. Thank you.